You obviously know Kung Fu.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jeff Vita here with the Kung Fu Driving Podcast. Excited to bring back a guest. You've seen his work in films like Shang-Chi, The Continental, and the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 coming out in 2025. Uh, Filmmaker, martial artist, stunt performer, here with a personal project. Malay Kim. Malay, thank you so much for hopping on the Kung Fu Driving Podcast.
What's up, Jeff? Thanks for having me, man. Good to be back.
It's good to have you back. So, Malai, talk to me about what you got going on. Ashes, a kung fu story. Sounds exciting. As you have it on the on your fundraising page, a modern take on a classic kung fu story about revenge and redemption that revolves around the choices that we make as people and the karmic thread it leaves behind. So, there's some heady stuff there. What was the genesis of this idea?
What's funny is like years ago I saw this promo for HBO Boxing. I think it's called I Have a Soul, or I Still Have a Soul. It's about this. I think he's a homeless dude, and he's just going. I think he's in New York. He's just going about his life. Collecting money however he can, selling blood, selling cans, begging, and at the end of it, it's him. Like you see him walking to a closed gym, and it's a boxing gym, and then he just dumps like the cash, the coins on the ring, that, and he begins his training, and then from then on, it's like a montage of him doing his training, raising money, sleeping on the streets or whatever, and then it ends with him in his first boxing match, and then that was a very inspirational video, and that was just a HBO promo that had nothing to do with filmmaking or nothing like that. And then for a while, I just thought like, man, how do I tell a short story in such a good way like that? And so I kind of stole a little bit of the idea, and then it just progressed from then on. Um, I talked to a buddy of mine, his name's Terrell Bullock, and I was like, hey, what do you think of doing like this short? And he's like, yo, that sounds pretty good. And then it just spiraled, and I kept adding more and more pages to the script, and we're kind of a little too far ahead of ourselves. But we gotta chop it down a little bit. And then like it kind of sort of relates a little bit to like myself and like my friends. Like the not the HBO promo, but like the story that I created around it. It's sort of based on, I wouldn't say poverty, but just, living in the slums and or in the hood and not having much to do, you know what I mean? And sometimes you need that one outlet that just helps you get out of it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's not an unfamiliar story, particularly to martial artists. Uh,
Not really, yeah.
right? There's always the case of needing to focus that extra energy or needing
Hmm.
to divert that passion somewhere. And for a lot of martial artists, when we're younger, the parents are like, "Hey, take some martial arts classes.
Yeah.
Get that energy out
Yeah.
in a healthy way, right?"
Yeah.
And that's something that you're familiar with. You talked about your mom. Uh, Deciding to keep you off the streets, the potentially dangerous streets, and putting you into martial arts, despite it not being the most economical use of the funds at
Mhm.
the time, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, when I was much younger, I was about 8 or 7 years old. My mom, at the time we were living with my dad, they put me in a taekwondo class for like a few months before we moved. But I was a very, very shy kid. I didn't want to be, doing stuff in front of anyone. I didn't want to hit anyone. I didn't want to be hit. But I loved watching martial arts films growing up. Uh, was it until I was 14? There was a martial arts club in my high school, and that's where I met Tuan, my mentor. He brought me on and started training me, and my mom saw that there was like, okay, you want to get back into it, and this would be good because this is the age where you're more influenced to hang around gangs and stuff like that. So she's like, I'm gonna like you have to do it. And luckily, the taekwondo school that she put me in was the one that he was also my mentor was coaching at, and it was just down the street from me, like maybe like several blocks. So she put me there, and I was trained like 7 days a week, and it for the most part it kept me out of trouble.
Well, what kept you in the class? Because for a lot of kids that are subjected to martial arts class or that are encouraged to take it, the interest and the commitment tends to wane after a little bit. what was it about you that kept you uh, uh, committed to the study and to furthering your progress?
I didn't really have like I didn't think about it at the time. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. I was luckily I was very athletically inclined as a kid. Like wherever I lived, there was a sport that I played. Like when I was in Boston, I played baseball. When I was in Canada for a little bit, I was playing hockey. When I came back to California, I was playing football and basketball. And like, I just kind of, I was adept. I learned very quickly, and just after picking up martial arts, I was like, okay, I think this is something I'm gonna stick to for a while because it's fun, it's enjoyable. It brought light in my life. I had a good time actually doing it. I started getting more into like sparring, and I was like, okay, it does feel fine to get hit, and it does feel even better to hit someone back. It's that it kind of brings you alive, if that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
yeah,
it does take a certain mindset to be able to um, take that kind of punishment, but also to dish it out, right?
yeah.
And you specifically call out Bak Mei kung fu uh, for this film, Ashes,
Mhm.
um, and the story of the whole Bak Mei um, style and the character itself is so deep and interesting. Talk to me a little bit about why Bak Mei was the martial art you chose to go with for your film.
Um, there's a it's so hard to explain. There's a deep contradiction in the style itself. It's
Yeah,
at least in modern times, it's the idea of like so Kung Fu originally was obviously created for like Shaolin Kung Fu is for meditation and just self-strengthening and stuff like that. But the root of it is still martial arts was created to hurt someone and namely to kill someone, right? If you're in battlefield, you lost your weapon, guess what? You got to use your hands to murder this dude before he stabs you, right? And so that kind of idea, it's still kind of it faded once martial arts became more of a commercialized sport or activity. But the mentality of Bap Mei is the idea of same thing, like you need, when you're in a street fight, you have to murder this dude or else he's gonna murder you. You have to prevent this dude from getting better and coming back for revenge, whatever it takes. And in the modern world, well, you don't need that protection anymore. We have laws and stuff like that in place. You're not gonna go out and start, beating someone up. I mean, people still do it, but it's the idea of like, martial arts has become commercialized because you can't just go around teaching people, hey, you gotta go go beat up this dude because he's talking trash on you. So there's a contradictory of like, okay, when I started learning it, it's like, you need this mentality. You need this mentality of murdering this dude, but don't murder this dude. Like you still need that self-control. And like so when we spar in class, we're like bare knuckle sparring, and he's like whispering in our ears, like, it's like, okay, he's talking shit on you, so you gotta, he's talking shit on your mom, so you make sure you hit him really hard and stuff. It's like, and then like after class, it's like we have to like calm down and like massage our muscles and do like qigong just to relax the state of mind to, get rid of that so-called evilness.
right. Now that dilemma is kind of central to the main character in Ashes, right? Leo, he's a bit of a reflection on your journey, but uh, that balance between learning a skill like Bak Mei that is uh, expressly deadly, and not giving in to those darker urges. That's part of the story that you crafted, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. And it's strange, like it's not only just in Batman itself, like, you have a lot of guys who learn modern martial arts, MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, karate, what have you, and some guys are, they're strong-headed, and they keep it within the gym, they keep it within the dojo and the ring, but you still have some guys out there, beating people up because they think they're the best, right? And
Right, right.
and the idea of like learning that self-control is very important.
And it's not just limited to the martial arts. You do have this message in here that it's meant to uh, for people to explore whatever their passion may be, whether that's martial arts or not. And you talk about escaping this, in your words, the soul crushing cycle of the mundane life. Um, Talk to me a little bit about that. What was it that caused you to focus on that part of it, and spotlighting it to the point where you wanted to encourage people to step out of that cycle and follow their passion, whatever that might be?
Yeah, so there's a lot of uh ideas that came from this. One namely just through a bunch of various connections through my wife and her coworkers and their family and stuff like that. There's a certain devotion, like one of their families is putting their kids in sports, and that's all they're making him focus on. Like, you need to focus on sports. You're not going to go to school. You're not going to college. Like, you all you need to focus on sports. And then for the most part, the child, he growing up, first few years, he loved doing it, and now it's become a thing where, like, he might hate it. That pressure of, like, my parents are making me do this rather than me doing it and enjoying it for myself. So it's this thing of, like, find a passion for something, but really don't let that be everything that you have. Like, you still need to have a social life. You still need to have a family. You still need to, do what you need to do to make you happy, but don't let it control you. Don't let it be only you.
Yeah, yeah. How do you balance that message for anybody watching the film, if they are not interested in martial arts at all? Like, say the passion is podcasting, which could not be further from martial arts. Right? I sit on I sit on my ass and I do nothing. Right? But no, so like, what about that? How do you reach those viewers that uh, aren't about to get up and go train on the mat, and still um, have the message of your film come through for them?
Right. There's a scene, there's a dialogue between the Sifu and Leo, and it's him explaining to him, like, sort of same thing I'm sort of reiterating, where it's, you can't let one thing take over. You know what I mean? Like, you still need to uh divide yourself a little bit. Don't focus just on one thing, because or else you're not going to have life for anything else. um I guess that, yeah, that's kind of pretty much the gist of it.
Nice. All right.
Hopefully the way we we tell that story together, it'll sort of make sense.
Yeah.
And we are, our idea is, like, a lot of what you call it, things are translatable, which is, or universal rather, like comedy and action. And so hopefully the using the language of action translates that story for us.
Yeah, definitely. And the action looks great from the clip that you have on the page. Talk to me a little bit about the cast that you've put together for this film. Obviously, they bought into your vision. What are they bringing in? What are they bringing to the table, and how are they helping to express that language of motion and action that you want to put on film?
Right. Terrell, who is playing Leo, he's our number one on the call sheet. I met Terrell, oh man, I can't remember, not too long ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And he sort of had a reverse effect on when he grew up. I won't say reverse, different upbringing, but same effect. He was brought up doing martial arts at a very young age by his father, who was also, like, a kung fu master, and that's all he did. But luckily for him, he still loves doing martial arts. And we already did our first table read, and man, he did phenomenal. He delivered. So I think he'll make the film worth it. And let's see who else. David Sakurai. I met David on Iron Fist season one. He played one of the villains, Dog Brother. I forget which episode. He's the one that carries a, like, this long uh bladed weapon. I don't. It's some made
Yeah,
weapon. I forget what it was. Yeah, he was in season one, and then we sort of kept in touch, just here and there.
cool,
And then I found out recently that he was in LA. I said, man, I gotta find a villain to play this character. And he came to my training session once, and I just hit him up, like, hey brother, do you want to play this villain in my short script? And I sent it to him. I sent him the idea, and he's super down. He's so humble, and he just rapped from Avatar, and the
nice,
level that he brings to this is phenomenal. Like, his acting experience, his charisma, and he has martial arts background too. He does Wing Chun, which
Cool.
in a way, it's relatable. It's sort of the same as Batman, but there's a different type of energy that's brought with it. But his flow and his martial prowl helps a lot in Batman.
Cool. Very cool. And I know you have Michael Lair working with you too.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mike, oh man, we go way back. But we didn't start reconnecting until 21 or 22, I forget. It was for he actually did a short, which is we had a premiere last fall, last winter, I forget. No, no, actually this year, this spring. It's called AIZ, Alpha Initiative Zero. It
Cool.
was a comic book that he wanted to bring to life, and he had me coordinated. So I'm like,
Nice.
yo, you want to coordinate my film? Yeah, and
That's awesome.
and after working together on Mortal Kombat, we're like, yo, we gotta make some more dope stuff. Like, we can't just sit here and just wait around for the next job. We need to do something great.
That's cool. Yeah, no, so that leads me then to you stepping from uh, coordination and stunt work to into the director's role. You cited J.J. Perry and Chad Stahelski as inspirations for that particular path.
Mhm.
Stunt performers are now in positions where they are crafting those stories that are captivating audiences all over the place. Is that what you're working to get to eventually? And is this one of those steps that you'll be taking?
Most definitely, most definitely. Maybe not on such a large scale as they are, because
Sure,
obviously
sure.
they have the experience and the power in that sense. I still want to stay as small as I can because I'd like to help the next generation, so to speak.
Cool.
Bring up other guys who want to get into the industry a little bit instead of jumping, in a higher the budget world. And it's being working around the larger budget productions, there is a lot more stress in terms of like, you have notes from here and notes from there, and you're telling you can't do this, but you can do that, and make sure you cast this person. Like, I don't want, I don't want any of that nonsense. I just, the smaller the better. That way, me and my crew have full control.
All right. Well, so how different then is it having been on the stunt side, having been on the coordinator side, to being the head of the whole thing and having to delegate and having to oversee it and all that. I know it's not a huge production yet, but you do have a sense of the type of responsibility that goes with that new role as the director. Uh, how has it been for you so far?
It's actually been pretty good. Luckily, all those years of doing YouTube shorts gave me that practice of touching all departments,
Yeah,
directing, choreographing, shooting, editing, and all that jazz, costuming even, with my crew. And it just, and even working on larger scale budgets as a fight coordinator, people don't realize this. The stunt department is the only, maybe not only, it's probably one of the only departments that has to communicate and deal with other departments as well. We have to
yeah.
communicate with wardrobe, props, even set deck, directors, camera. Like, we touch all pieces. So that experience throughout the years have helped me a lot. The only thing I was starting to work on a little more was learning to step away. Like, just, this is what I need, and then I'm gonna let you guys make the decision. Uh, don't come to me for those little things unless it's very crucial to the story. I'm completely stepping away from the stunt department. Like, I trust my
Ah,
team fully
cool.
to do what they need to do. Like, they all have been training Pop May under me, but other than that, I'm like, you guys know what the style is. You guys know what I want. You guys go and choreograph and pre-visit the way you think that I want it to be. That way I can just focus literally just on the writing and directing.
Cool. All right, let me see if I can queue up this video, just a short snippet of what you guys are crafting for Ash a Kung Fu Story. So it is this clip right here, which you can see on your page. So stand by.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. It's hard hitting action right there.
Yeah.
What are some of the thoughts looking back at that and seeing it unfold that way?
So, man, we spent actually 3 days shooting that, and it was so short. And it wasn't because we couldn't get the choreography right or anything. It was literally we kept getting kicked out of location, so we had to keep moving around. And it was a free day. I wasn't paying anyone, so we scheduled things for like 1 or 2 hours just to get it done. Guys had to leave and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna try and keep everyone there, but yeah, we had to keep moving around. You couldn't really tell, but like each spot was a different location. And then while I was editing it, uh, obviously it looks very sped up, but I did not. I honestly I did not speed it up, and
Wow,
I even checked my settings. Like, okay, it's not at 22 frames. It's at 24. Why are they so fast? It's no lie, no for real. Like no, they're that quick.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
And so talk to me about the characters in that. You have Terrell Bullock there as Leo. Who is he going up against there?
That is a former student. His name is Mark. He's a former student of the Sifu who comes back for revenge. I'm not gonna give too much more because it's a
Nice.
little bit of a twist, but it's still sort of classical and like the revenge student. He comes back, murders the teacher, and the new student has to like muster up his energy and save the day. There's a little difference and a nuance of that in terms of how he goes about winning and what it takes for him to overcome not just his adversary but himself. Um, and it's again because it is a modern take. How do we get away with this old story of murder, murdering and revenge and stuff, right? So that'll be the interesting part.
Cool. All right. What do you want audiences to take away from something like Ashes, whether they're into the martial arts aspect of it or not?
I think it's mainly about just trusting that stunt guys can make a film. We
Cool.
like I said, Chad and Jerry and so much more have already paved the way. Not that others from Hong Kong haven't done the same, but now it's more so just in the West. It's funny when we're sort of looked at as the jocks of the industry, but a lot of us are pretty smart. I may not be that
Yeah.
smart, but there are some guys that I work with are like, man, you should be a friggin' engineer or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we're not just jocks.
Yeah. The stunt category though did just get some recognition from the Oscars, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
yeah,
That's a long time coming, but it's it's a big step into recognizing what the stunt teams do for a film.
yeah, right. So it was a weird dynamic for me in the beginning because I thought, as a stunt guy, I'm like, wait, we're stunt guys. We don't need recognition, right? We're just in the shadows. We make everyone else look good. But the dynamic has changed. More and more films are being literally made by stunt men, even if
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
second unit. A lot of these movies are being made by stunt coordinators and second unit directors, and so they do deserve this recognition because they've been at it for decades. Wrecking themselves, wrecking their friends, and now they have to stay. We're like, well, guys, we can't just keep hiding in the shadows if they're gonna make all these action films. We do need our recognition, and I believe that's something we all strive to work towards.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of working towards, what is the next step for Ashes? It's a short film that you're working now. What's the stretch goal for it?
The stretch goal is to run it through the circuits a little bit, get a little bit more notoriety, and hopefully pitch it to someone to make a low budget film.
Feature film.
Yeah, low budget feature film. Correct.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool. Do you have that story in mind already? Have you fleshed it all out? And is it a story that you already have where you can see expanding on that world further and doing a two and a three?
Not necessarily. there was the idea of making a part two of the short, but I didn't want to waste time just doing that. The idea is I might turn this short, and once we do write a feature for it, it might just be like the first act or the second act rather, because there are more characters that I'd like to introduce into the story,
Cool.
and Mark may or may not be the main villain of the whole thing.
No spoilers, no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
All right. So the address is right there for Seed and Spark. Talk to me a little bit more about the fundraising campaign. How's it going? What are some of the incentives that you're offering to investors, and what are some of the what's some of the feedback that you've been getting from people that have seen what you've done so far?
Yeah, so when we first started our, before we actually launched it, we had to submit it for approval, which is helpful because it's Seed and Spark is mainly created for artists, commercial, short films, anything that has to do with filmmaking, right?
Cool.
And so these were like I wouldn't say former filmmakers; they still make their own stuff, but they give tips on how to make your pitch better, and it's helped us a lot. We've submitted it twice now, and we've get feedback from them of you know work on like they're not saying no. They're saying if you're gonna do this, make sure you have something to back it up to really support your claim or support your incentive, etc. Just to help streamline everything and make sure that we hit our goal. So we just launched it a few days ago now,
Yeah, I
three
think it's
four
only
days
3
now.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, damn, it's been 3 days. So they're saying like ideally we'd want to hit 30% in 3 days.
Wow.
It's day four now, I guess, starting day four, and we're just under 30%.
Nice.
But that doesn't mean that we still can't hit our goal. And to them, it's as long as we hit 80%, that's a green lit, and we'll get that
Oh,
funding for
nice.
that. Yeah. And so the incentives, man, we were bouncing back and forth forever, like trying to figure out what do people want, and this is another thing that they helped us with, which is don't promise too many actual physical gifts because those
Sure.
are hard to deliver. So the only physical gift that we have is just the T-shirt, which
Yeah.
is linked there. You can check it out. Um, we have a $10 incentive, which is just a quick shout out and a big thank you. We'll keep you updated on what's happening with the short and everything. I think there's also like you get BTS footage
Yeah.
once we get everything down. $25 gets you a shopped picture of you in a classic kung fu school picture. And you've seen the ones where like the Sifu sitting in the middle and he's like all proper and everything, and there's like
Yeah.
students
Yeah.
around him. So I always thought that was a cool picture of like me and my crew. We always do that, and so far like people are down with it. There are some
That's
like
cool.
it's okay. We just want to give them money. I don't need the I don't need the picture. Like no, you can't. We're not taking no for an answer. We want we want your picture in it. And then what's the next one? $50 gets you the same thing, but I think what was it? I'm drawing a blank. $50 gets you gets your name in the credits as a special thank you as well. $100 gets you everything plus the T-shirt. 250 is 250 gets you everything.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a private link to everything plus the private link to the short when it's done. 500 gets you a private kung fu lesson from
Yep.
myself, and 1,000 gets you a little like just like the intro to the clip, like a 10-15 second action piece. Hopefully you'll be in town for that. I forgive
Yeah.
me if you're not in town. But we'll find a way to make it work, and we can offer something else.
No, that's cool. When you see the film starting to come together, when you have bits and pieces, what are the thoughts that are going through your head? Are you super critical, or are you just filled with pride as it continues to keep getting done?
Oh man, I'm pretty critical. Yeah, it like as we're when we did our first table read, we have like an hour left at the office. Let's start planning out shots. And I was very meticulous with the way things were going to be, with the way they look and the way the actors perform. I don't like telling my actors how to do things. I just kind of give them like what I want, and I just trust that they deliver. So even on the day, I'm going to be very very critical of the way how things look, the color, the lighting, and everything.
All right. And we are recording this a little bit before Mother's Day, which is coming this weekend. So it's a
That's right.
great touch that there's a nod here to the sacrifices that your mom made
Yeah.
to get you into training. So for the moms out there that are going to watch this film, what is something that you can point to in the film that is an out and just an outright thank you to what the moms and the guardians and
Right.
the dads that raised
All
you
right.
did to support you.
To all the parents out there, please support your child no matter what. Just, they're you got to help guide them. Don't be too angry with them. Sometimes kids are just dumb. They have bad influence sometimes, but as long as you're there nurturing and they're your kids will be good.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Uh, give a final message then to the people that are thinking about supporting Ash's A Kung Fu Story. What do you want them to know about Malay Kim and what your vision is for this story and how it will resonate with audiences all over?
Please support Ashes. It's a bunch of guys who love making films, watching films, whether it's action, drama, thriller, suspense, horror. Please help support artists. It helps keep the world going around.
Yeah, definitely a great message there. And for those of us who like action, I mean, I know what you've brought to the table for the works that you've already been involved with. So continued good luck. I hope Ashes gets the funding that you want to get it to,
Thank
and
you.
that we can see more of Leo and more of Malay Kim, and seeing what stories you're going to be bringing to
Yeah, for
the
sure.
silver screen.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah.
Appreciate your time, Malay, man. Best of luck. Good luck
Thank
to
you so
Ashes.
much. Thank you, Jeff.
Hup! Poison Clan rocks the world.